your host Carla, and if you love anime, manga, and the stories that inspire and entertain us, you're in the right place. Here we get into epic adventures, heartfelt romances, unforgettable characters, and even the lessons we can take from them. So whether you're here for nostalgia, new recommendations, or just a good time geeking out, join me, a longtime fangirl, as we explore the universe of all things anime, manga, and even the occasional K-drama. Remember to follow, like, and subscribe, and if you enjoy the show, leave a review. It helps more anime lovers find the podcast and keeps the conversations going. Hey everyone, welcome back to Her Anime Universe. Today I want to talk to you about two anime that in my opinion don't get the recognition they truly deserve. Before I get to that, my voice does sound off because this week I lost my voice. My baby boy was sick and coughing, and I don't know if he gave it to me or if it's allergies, but at the moment my voice is not the original of how it should sound. So bear with me. Hopefully there is no cough attack here. Wish me luck. And if you're obviously listening to this already took place, but send me continuous good vibes of healing. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you about Prince of Tennis and Food Wars Shokugeki no Soma. Both of these series have a solid fan base, but they aren't always brought in mainstream anime conversations as much as they should be. Even with their ratings, right? Prince of Tennis around like 7 out of 10 and Food Wars at 8 out of 10. I personally think that they deserve more love, and here's why, okay? But before we dive into that, I have two quick updates that I think are super exciting, at least for me. First, the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, which I didn't know existed until last year. The voting will take place from April 3rd to the 14th, and the actual awards will be held in Japan on May 25th. It's so cool to see how anime continues to be such a global phenomenon. Honestly, anime has been a huge part of my life for so many years, and seeing an event like this celebrating creators and their work is just amazing. One day it'd be really cool, right, to attend, even as a podcaster talking about anime and all the hero and all those things, right? The other thing I heard, which I think it's a rumor for now, I don't know if this is ever going to happen, and if it is, I'm excited. So I heard that Claymore might be getting a live action adaptation. Obviously, from the first episode, I think you've been hearing me talk about Claymore and how this is one of like my top anime that I always have cherished and loved. And so it's going to be really interesting, right? Now, I don't know again if this is actually happening or just speculation, but if it is, I'm just curious about how they would pull it off. So we're going to see. And of course, I think a lot of that is because Claymore has such an intense and dark storyline. And if they do it right, it could be so amazing, right? But we also know how live action adaptations can go. So I am cautiously optimistic. I mean, if you remember Fullmetal Alchemist, I love Fullmetal Alchemist. I'll probably talk about that at a future episode. I don't know. I was a little thrown off by it, or even Cowboy Bebop when they did the live adaptation. So we'll see, right? And anyway, speaking of adaptations, let's talk about Solo Leveling, okay? I can't help it. Everyone is going absolutely crazy over this anime, how it came from this manhwa, and now they turned it into the anime, and honestly, I get it. The animation, the fights, the overall hype, it's just living up to the expectations so far. But I'm still making sure I stay ahead by reading the manhwa because let's be real, the book is always worth diving into. There's always things that are in there that are not in the actual video version of it. Of course, it's timing and cost of production and all of that. I get it. So read it if you can. And I read it on Manta, so go check that out. But I'm sure there's some other online places that you can check it out. So with that being said, there have been some updates about the Solo Leveling live action adaptation too, and from what I've heard, it's shaping up to be pretty amazing. The graphics, the effects, and just overall execution seem promising. There's been some like videos that I've seen around that seem to look really good, so I don't know. Of course, like I said, some of these can flop, but I'm hoping that this one delivers. And we'll just have to see. Solo Leveling isn't the only manhwa getting an anime adaptation. There are quite a few that fans are hyped about, like the series. These I think already happened, right? The Tower of God and noblesse already getting adaptations. So it's exciting to see more manhwa making their way to the anime scene. And this could be the start of a bigger wave of manhwa based anime. I think it's so cool how it's getting cross cultured or cross pollinated. So let's get into today's episode and talk about the two shows that I said I think are amazing and super fun and funny, even if the rest of the anime world doesn't hype them up as much as they should. First up, Food Wars, Shokugeki no Soma. And I did practice this one. And let me just say, this anime is so much more than just exaggerated food reactions. Yeah, it has those moments. But if that's all you see, you're missing out on what makes the series really great. Soma Yukihira is one of my favorite protagonists, I think, because he walks into a school filled with elite culinary students who have already mastered their craft. And he's nowhere near their level. He's talented, yeah, but he isn't the best. Not yet, at least. What sets him apart is his mindset. You know, I love mindset. Instead of getting intimidated, he throws himself into every challenge with the attitude of, how can I innovate? Or how can I make this great? Instead of just, how can I win? Right? That's such a powerful way to approach life, I think, instead of letting fear or self-doubt hold him back. Soma keeps experimenting, keeps pushing himself, and when he fails, he learns from it and he comes back even stronger. One of the things I've learned through my career that I do, other than podcasting, is that there is no failure, there's only feedback. And so if you take that failure and if you don't quit, if you avoid quitting, but you take that as a lesson to how to make it better, how to make it more delicious or stronger, right? That's feedback for you. And so one of the reasons I think Food Wars is underrated is because, I mean, it's easy to dismiss at face value. People see the over the top reactions and assume it's all just fan service or whatever. And yeah, there's some of that, like, but the cooking battles, right? The strategy, the real life culinary techniques, it's crazy. Every dish is designed apparently with like real world inspiration, and the food actually looks, you know, pretty good, like in the show. At its core, Food Wars is about passion for creativity, for competition, for pushing yourself to be better. And that's why I think it deserves more recognition. It's not just a cooking anime, it's a growth anime, right? And I think that's so important to like really remember, is because I'm not a fan of cooking. Let me just be honest with you, okay? I'm not great at it. I can do the basics. I can survive, okay? But it's really cool how even a show like this is like, oh, maybe it could be fun. Maybe I could get curious about this. Maybe I can try different ingredients. And it's just something that it helps me get curious, and it's a way of growth. So always stay curious. Let me just say that. All right. So you let me know what you thought. Like, is this a show that you enjoyed, or was it too over the top? Because, you know, the animation and like the wah and all those things, it's sometimes it can throw someone off if you don't know that exists in anime. I love it. I think it's hilarious. So I thought it was a funny show too. Now, the second one that I am watching again, you can say, that I'm almost done with, is one of my favorites. I feel like I've rewatched it a few times. It is The Prince of Tennis, okay? So if you haven't watched it, this series follows Ryoma Echizen, a gifted tennis player, middle schooler who joins Seishun Academy, or Seigaku, and quickly establishes himself as a prodigy. His main goal is to beat his dad. Okay, and there's going to be a few like hints into what actually happens in the show, so be aware. His dad is a former tennis legend, a pro, right? And Ryoma has lived with this guy, his father, who he sees as his dad, who's annoying, right? And so as the series progresses, that goal evolves into something much bigger. One thing I love about Ryoma is that he rises to the occasion. Yeah, he's cocky at times. All right. Maybe a little too at the time. Sometimes I just think he's just being rude. He could like approach things and people differently, but I think that's, you know, and that's in the world of competition, that confidence is key. If you want to stay in the game, you have to believe in yourself no matter what. And honestly, some of the best athletes in both anime and real life carry that same level of confidence because they have to.
Take, for example, those matches in the show, of course, between Inui and some of the other players. Remember, Inui is a strategist, the one who has his data tennis, okay? And he is very confident in his style, and he's confident in those things that he knows about a player. He is just like, that is his style, okay? But the moments that things don't go exactly as planned, when his data isn't dataing, right? When they're not showing the results, you can start to see that some doubt starts to creep in. He doesn't play the same way. And what happens, right? Sometimes that hesitation has costed him the match. Even Ryoma, he was handed like a straight up wake up call, okay? Because he knows he's super confident, but someone was like, boom, boom, wake up, little boy. Because when he played Tezuka, who is the captain of the tennis club in Seishun Academy, or Seigaku, that match forced him to humble himself and push his limits even further. I remember like he had no idea how to handle that. He was just down on himself, and it was just crazy. And then he played the captain of that other school, the other national school. I can't remember the name of it right now. And he lost at a moment where he was so cocky, and that guy showed him, right? And so those have been like two moments that have pushed him to like, yo, humble yourself, because you can push yourself. And when you are able to do that, Ryoma was able to push his limits even further. Moments like these show that the confidence is key, like I said, but so is the ability to adapt and keep growing. And what I really appreciate about Prince of Tennis is the deeper message it has. Ryoma starts out hyper-focused and just beating his father, but over time, he's realizing that his journey is about so much more than that one match. And isn't that something we can all maybe relate to? How often do we get so caught up in chasing one specific goal that we overlook all the other wins happening along this way? We get tunnel vision, whether it's in business, in school, fitness, whatever it is, we get that tunnel vision. But when we can stay curious and open, we start seeing the incredible people, opportunities, and everything that's around us, right? And learning from them. And that's when we grow exponentially. So Prince of Tennis captures that journey so well. It's not just about being the best, which yes, that's what we strive for, to be excellent. It's about how you evolve while getting there. So why isn't this anime talked about more? Part of me thinks that it's because it came out early. I searched it. I think the manga was like in the late 90s. And I think the anime started in like 2005 or something. And as time passed, of course, newer sports anime like HAU and Kuroko no Basket took the spotlight. But if you love competitive anime, strategic matches, and character development, you really need to give Prince of Tennis a chance. Let me tell you, I love it. Like I said, I repeated it, so yes. Okay? So both Prince of Tennis and Food Wars bring something unique to the anime world. But they don't always get that mainstream love that they deserve. Maybe it's because, again, they were released at times when other big titles were dominating the conversation. Or maybe people just judge them too quickly without giving them a real chance. Who knows? But if you love anime that mix strategy, competition, and personal growth, these are two series you should not sleep on, okay? So, that's all for today's episode. Let me know if you watched Prince of Tennis or Food Wars and what you think. Do they deserve more recognition? Do you think that they got the attention that they needed or that they deserved? Or was there something that was better at the time? Just let me know on Her Anime Universe on Instagram and Threads, and let's talk about it. I love conversation. So, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
That's it for today's episode of Her Anime Universe. Thanks for hanging out with me and geeking out over all things anime and manga. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, subscribe, and leave a review. It really helps this podcast grow. Let's keep the conversation going over on Instagram at Her Anime Universe or even on my other page at Coach Carlita. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep being unapologetically you.